you're in the top 200, technically
So,
top 150.
yeah. So okay, it was 153. So top 153. But
Okay, top
uh,
200 then.
yeah, no, it was pretty
Oh
good.
crap. Oh no, we're good. I had the stream pulled up in the background and I saw it switch to active, and I was worried that it wouldn't auto mute, but it auto muted.
Yeah, no, there's some fast people
Oh
out
yeah.
there.
Well, I mean,
Fun fact.
did you see what was I think it was this week where that dude at Boston ran a 2 hour marathon?
Yeah, he got like a 159.40, I think,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Not official, of course, but still.
I mean, yeah, but they're gonna officialize it. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Oh crap.
it's really good. They're
Yeah,
also
I'm
doing a half marathon at the same time as the 5K. I waited around to see the first people coming to that.
mhm.
They're running like I think the first person got in around like an hour, like 10 or something.
That's
There's some.
crazy.
It's 13 miles. It's pretty fast.
Well, what I thought was crazy was the dude afterwards. People were interviewing him are like, how do you run so fast? He's like, I don't know. What's like the average? Because he's always been fast, you know.
Right.
It's like what's the average marathon time? They're like 5 hours. He's like, I could never run for that long. It's like what's
Okay, he's being cheeky.
I don't know about that, but just
I mean,
I've never been. I need to. I'm been biking, you know, about an hour every day. But
biking is cardio too. Works like
yeah,
the
but
legs.
today was God. It's the park near me. It's ever since it switched over to fall. There's been every day there's like one or two of those photographers there taking pictures of families or doing senior pictures, that kind of thing.
Right.
Today every path had at least two photographers taking family pictures and senior
Dude,
pictures.
now's the time. The colors of the trees are changing.
I
I
know
was
that.
out at Happy Hollow, the park today.
Uh huh.
Everyone had their little kids out trying to get them to stay still so they could take fall photos.
It was. I was like, oh my god, like. Can you at least not take them on the freaking path? It's a big round circle that's meant for like running and biking.
But
And
that's
it
where
was
the
just people
trees
taking
are, Sam.
pictures. I was not impressed, to
And I'll
say the
just wait till
least.
it gets like super cold and then no one will be out there.
Yeah, then I'll have it to
You'll have it
myself
all to
finally.
yourself.
Um, I will say it's better than whenever there's the local soccer games and the freaking soccer moms set their chairs up on the path. There's courtside on the grass. What are you doing over here?
Just bike through them.
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, no, it's been a pretty nice weather. Hopefully we'll keep it for a couple more weeks.
Yeah, I gotta say, it was a bit warmer today. I think I preferred it when it was colder, just because there were less people that I had to ride around, and I could actually, push myself a bit harder.
Do I have news for you? Because it's gonna get colder before it gets
Yeah.
warmer again. So you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of hoping we have a snowless winter, just so I can actually. Well, I hope I'm not here first of all, but hopefully, if I am here for a bit longer time, hopefully there's no snow, so I can ride my bike, or at least run or something.
I usually run inside during the winter. It's
Well,
too cold.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my parents do have a treadmill, but
It gives me the goose pimples.
it was I don't know, it's a rush to cycle in the cold. Although it was what was it? There was one night where I actually felt like I had come down with a cold after I came back in because I was
I mean, you were in the cold.
Yeah.
That's how that works, right?
but like I was sore, and I might have actually been sick. Maybe my sleep schedule was terrible, but
I like
yeah.
sick.
Been doing anything fun this past week? Got midterms or anything?
Did I have a midterm last week? They're all just starting to bleed together. I got a midterm this week.
I believe it.
I mean, all last week I've been working on my safety project. So yeah, it's been taking up a lot of my time. But
Oh gosh.
yeah, that.
We're gonna have to be careful while we're speaking today to not accidentally read out chat, because Matt's a bit drunk right now.
I was just messaging him.
Ah,
So
You should turn up for his when he streams. If you
see, I didn't realize he was streaming Hollow Knight. Yeah. I missed it tonight. I haven't been looking at the notifications.
Well, he only streamed for like 10 minutes tonight. He was a bit drunk, and the boss was really hard when he was sober.
That's why I was upset. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, oh, maybe I can still catch the stream, but it was already done.
Yeah, the notification came out when I was on my bike. So, but it's fun. Usually it's just me talking to him.
We'll make threes a crowd. Yeah. Hey, maybe we should drink next time we do audio shop.
I don't know. I went to my neighbor had a get together last night.
Bar mitzvah?
No, it was just a neighborhood get together because it was we used to play outside all the time when we were kids, and so all our parents are friends. Although most of the kids aren't kids anymore, although I'm the oldest, to be fair. But not everybody had got together in a while, so she had everybody over. There was food. There was a lot of alcohol. So
that's how you know it's a good neighborhood hootenanny.
Yeah. Granted, I stretched it out over the course of how long was I over there? 4.5 hours. But I probably had like five beers.
Oh, that's fine.
Which I guess isn't much, but when I only drink once in a while now, it's like that's quite a bit, as opposed to 2 32-ounce cups in one night over the course of 3 hours.
Man, I do miss Thirsty Thursday with the boys.
Do you still go ever or no?
I think I've gone once or twice, but it's not the same.
Yeah. We still went without you, but...
No. Well, thank you. In fact, we enjoyed it more.
No, it definitely wasn't as much fun. It was still fun, but it's always nice to have everyone there,
The crew. Yeah. I don't know.
It's like how my dog feels, She loves seeing everybody, but she would prefer if she could just live with everyone she loved all the time. Like when we go stay at my grandma's, it's heaven for her because everybody is there all the time.
Oh man, I just feel like I throw up every time I drink. Or it's definitely like a majority of the time.
I think that's on you though.
On me? They don't have Tums at the bar. How am I supposed to counteract it?
Well, first off, I think it's your fault for subsisting on a diet of 95% Tums.
It's not 95%. I have maybe 1 or 2 occasionally as a treat.
1 or 2 a day? You're not supposed to eat Tums as a treat, Cooper. That's bad for you.
Not a day. Maybe like every couple of days. I haven't had any today.
Which is a surprise.
Oh, my stomach's felt fine.
Yeah, because its pH is at 7 like always.
Yeah, so it's not acidic. It won't burn through me.
You're you could have you could accidentally throw up and it would just be water. You have no stomach acid in there.
And that's great. My stomach feels good. That's the way I'm supposed to be.
Gosh darn it, I forgot about stomach.
How can you forget you have one, Sam?
Yeah, good point. We need to, after this, pull those guys in here and see if we can organize a video game night or something. We haven't done that for a while.
Oh, yeah, we should. I'd be game for that. When are you planning on coming up?
Well, Halloween is when I'm coming up. First off, might be sooner depending on what I hear this week from that company. Also, there's a event going on. It's like for like a engineering, I don't want to say club, but association or something that I might come up for. But it's like $100, so probably not.
No, that's money.
And it's also not really a networking event. It's more of a sit and listen to speakers event. It's like there's a 2 30-minute breaks and an hour lunch. I was like, yeah, I could network during that, but paying $100 for that
seems kind of expensive. Who's speaking?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, there's a lot of NASA engineers and stuff like that, but it's a lot of money.
I guess. So, but get to rub shoulders with some important people. Can you put a
price
tag on
shoulders
that, Sam?
Isn't what you need. You need to talk to them too. Can't exactly turn over to him while somebody's up on the podium and be like, "Hey, so where do you work?"
You could.
Yeah. All right, you want to hop into this? We've been.
Oh, music? I'm always up for that.
Oh, first we got to do the classic tax time with Cooper.
Oh yeah, so I've talked to my my finance guy about my Roth IRA.
Mm-hmm.
No, okay, we'll do that next time.
Okay. All right.
I do wish I had that money right now, though.
Oh, shut up! You had it. You've worked you've actually had jobs.
Yeah, and now I don't. So I'm currently losing money.
Yeah, you're the one that bought a Instapot on a whim.
Yeah, and I've used it like every week for the past 10 weeks.
Then that would be a good investment.
I made some cilantro lime rice. It's much better than regular rice, and it's very easy to make. You just put in lime and cilantro.
4 cups of lime, right?
Yeah, 4 cups.
Yeah.
And then you can always balance it out with a little bit of baking soda later.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into it then.
All right, so jump right into it. So hello everybody, welcome back to Audio Shop. This is Cooper,
and this is Sam.
And today we're going to be talking about How to Be a Human Being by Glass Animals. So this is going to be album number 18 in terms of our reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a nice little album. I'm not sure everyone has listened to before. How familiar were you with Glass Animals before this, Sam?
Never heard of him.
Oh, so this is your introduction.
Yep. Pretty much.
Well, that's, to be fair, they're not super prolific. They've only got 2 albums in their discography. This being the second of the 2 of them. Actually, let me give you a little history rundown. For those of you who don't know, Glass Animals are pretty much a 4-piece written band. They kind of work with art pop, psychedelia, a lot of electronica. So it's got a lot of the indie trappings.
Mm-hmm.
This band was formed back in 2010, so newish band, and like I said, 2 albums. This How to Be a Human Being being their second one, and their first one was called Zaba, which actually had a single that went platinum. So pretty nice on your first hit. And hopefully they release another album soon. While I was researching it, apparently, because this album came out in 2016, August 22nd, 2016. I'm like, oh, they haven't released an album since then. That's been a while. And it's because their drummer was hit by a truck.
Oh God, is he all right?
Apparently he's okay, but they had to suspend all their touring and stuff.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're tight knit. They're all like hometown buddies.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that sucks. So hopefully he gets better. Hopefully, yeah.
Was it now? When you say hit by a truck, it wasn't like on the highway or anything, but still, it sounds like it was.
Well, it says he got hit by a lorry, which I guess is like the British version of those like gasoline tankers.
Yeah, like a semi truck.
I don't know how fast it was going, but
hopefully not very fast. But if they haven't done anything since 2016.
No, this happened back in 2018.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So hopefully he's feeling better. So shout out to Joe Seward. Hope you're feeling all right, buddy.
Yeah. As we know, you're an avid listener of the podcast.
Well, even if he isn't, I still hope his bones don't stay broken. That really sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I haven't been as active since then, but hopefully they'll be back at it. And yeah, but the main guy of this band is David Bailey. He's the lead singer. He wrote every song on this album. And yeah, so we can pretty much jump right into it. The only other background I think is worth noting for this album is that if you look at its cover art, it's got a pretty interesting cover art where it's like all these people kind of posed on top of it, all these miscellaneous peoples. And I actually found this cool interview that a magazine did with Bailey, where he talked about how each of these 11 people correspond to one of the 11 songs on the album. So if you listen to the album, keep an eye on the cover art and try to correlate which one goes to which one.
I did every once in a while, but I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, you're able to catch a couple of them, but
I don't think I managed to catch a single one. But granted, I wasn't really focusing on that at the time.
But yeah, so we can jump right in and also provide a little bit of insight from that interview because it sheds a little light on the songs as we go through.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear. Well,
Yeah.
let's jump into track number 1 then, which is Life Itself.
Life Itself.
Now, this one, I'm not sure what I expected when I first, was sitting down to listen to it, but it wasn't this. I was like, oh, it was a nice, very pleasant surprise, because I had no idea what I was getting into at all. It was extremely trippy, I would say, right off the bat. It was like the bubbly intro, and the drums and guitar are really nice. It sets itself apart instrumentally, and then the vocals come in, and it fits very well initially, kind of because it's very kind of out there. It's not mainstream. It's using instruments that aren't typically used and a style that's kind of not in the mainstream. And then the chorus was just a bit too poppy, I felt, for kind of the difference that they were going for. But as the album went on, I kind of got into it more and got more used to the kind of pop mesh with the outlandish kind of musical stylings. But just initially, it was the sudden pop chorus coming in kind of put me off. It felt odd.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but yeah, because they definitely are attempting a melding of some pop conventions with these very strange indie conventions. Like you're saying, the song starts with kind of these like orchestral, like strumming violins,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes for the only thing I can kind of describe is like a funky jungle vibe, percussion type beat.
I don't know if I got that, but
I was thinking of George of the Jungle.
okay. I haven't seen
maybe
that, so
that's
maybe
not what
that's
they-
why.
It also has these. I'm not sure what the instrument is, but it's that stringed instrument that's kind of correlated with like Asian culture.
Is it the one from
Think like Kubo and the Two Strings.
I was thinking of the one from the that movie we watched with your friends freshman year. What's that called?
The Kung Fu Hustle.
Yeah, Kung Fu. No. Yeah, Kung Fu Hustle. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that.
The one where they're strumming and it's swords, that kind of thing.
That's a good movie. But yeah, so kind of along those lines, just the vibe I was getting. And then it also has that kind of the chorus is like synth heavy, but it still keeps this kind of jingling percussion.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely an interesting combination. Bailey's vocals are also okay on the song. I think they're not anything that's too out of this world, but they get the job done. Kind of a more breathy indie type vocal stylings.
It gets way breathier later on.
It gets breathier, but he starts off already kind of breathing.
Yeah, and this kind, I don't know if this is the case, but to me at least it felt like the vocals were more about the sound of them rather than what was being said again. I feel like that's the case quite often.
Yeah, kind of a provocative type.
It had this one actually has some meaning to it, but I was finding myself, if I wanted to listen to the vocals, I'd have to strain really hard to understand what was being said, just because it's kind of an odd styling.
It's breathy and it's kind of under a lot of this instrumentation.
Yeah.
So the lyrics are there. It's just kind of, you got to pull for them out.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, what this song's supposed to be about is like the album's title, How to Be a Human Being. A lot of these tracks kind of look at aspects of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised, actually, they're mostly negative aspects in a way.
Oh.
Even though the album itself is a very, I wouldn't say upbeat, but it's not like a negative sounding album.
No. Kind of a laid back.
Yeah, but this one's about basically about a guy who feels separated from society. I'll read out Bailey's words exactly, just because I thought they're interesting. I'll read them out for the next one. But this one was basically about how a guy who's just like spending more and more time at home and less time away from like going outside, and how he's trying to work in these kind of weird instrumentations to kind of represent someone kind of losing touch with reality.
You don't have to call me out like that. I don't appreciate it.
Are you life itself, Sam?
No. But I certainly probably don't go outside as much as I should.
I'll just do more biking.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, so I think that kind of feeds into this weirder kind of off kilter instrumentation that it has going on.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense with the theme of the song. But the big question is which one is that guy on, or girl? I noticed there were girls on the cover art too.
Yeah, see, I was trying to figure that out as well. But I can't I can't quite figure out which one it is on the cover. I think it's the nerdy guy in the background with the glasses.
The old guy?
No, on the right hand side,
Oh, with
behind
the rainbow armband.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't know what we're talking about, right now we're looking at the cover art of Glass Animals, and as Cooper said before, each of the songs corresponds to one of the people in the photo. I like to think it's the porno looking guy, the 80s porno looking guy with the Speedo.
See, I think that, but I think there's a song later that correlates better with it. But okay. That's. Ooh, are you able to? Would you be able to pull up the album art for the to be seen on Twitch?
Oh, you know what? I can do just that. Give me a second to actually find a good one, but yeah, I'll pull that up.
Oh, can you pull up little red X's too to put over the faces as we figure them out?
Maybe I'm not sure about that.
If not, that's fine.
Why isn't it showing me the image size? I want the highest quality image.
Only the highest quality. Well,
while I'm doing this, you want to jump over to track number 2?
Track number 2, Youth. So this one, I say, starts off fairly normal for like an indie vibe. It's got that very boom boom bat type of percussion. But it's kind of accompanied with these wispy, almost like siren type electronica. It's hard to describe. It's like almost like pitched vocal samples, but played like on a keyboard. And it's kind of mixed in with this pretty simple drum loop, but accompanied with like some more poppy drums, as well as I think there's some mouth voices stacked in there as well. And it's also got some electric guitar going on as well. It's going for a very ethereal feel, while kind of maintaining this forward energy that the kind of simple percussion lends to. And actually, I like this one, particularly for its chorus, because it has this. The chorus has these very strange like stacked samples.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no, sorry, I'm thinking of a different song.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember any stacking in this one.
No, sorry, that's a different one. But yeah, this one's going for that very ethereal feel. And actually, this one was about, according to Bailey, this one's a little autobiographical about how he's trying to describe the feeling of when he's like in a music studio for a long time, and then he like after like cranking out for a long time, he then like just goes back to normal life. He's talking about that kind of like being in seclusion for a long time, but then suddenly being like back into normality. That kind of in between feel that you get, which I think is an interesting emotion to try to evoke in a song. And not quite sure that's how that made me feel when I was listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see where he was going with it.
So I don't think I can draw on this, but I got the image up.
Hey.
This I don't know. I feel like we got different things out of this one because I really like that synth sampling that was going right into it. Yeah. And again, I was still kind of starting to vibe with the vocals, but they still felt off compared to the vibe that the instruments were producing. And I think I was really more focused on the individual instrumental lines as opposed to anything else. Because there's the synth line, and then in the middle of the song, that gets picked up by a flute, which was really, really nice. Because you almost never hear a flute in that short of staccato style. It's almost never used like that. It's usually more flowing, traditional flute music. And this was the one where I started really paying attention to the drums, because the drums in this are super solid all the way through. Except, okay, I take that back. The drums in the first half are super solid.
Again, that C word. May he get better.
Yeah. And it's, there's a lot more going on with the drums than I realized, because there's not a whole lot in the instrumental line. Most of what's happening in this one, at least, was in percussion. Several different drums, a couple of different percussion things that were really did a lot to prop up the whole song. And then the flute came back in to carry it out, which, it can't go wrong with some good flute, in my opinion. So,
I mean, flute's pretty underutilized in terms of pop songs.
Yeah.
Or more popular music, even in the indie scene. So I get that.
So, I assume this track is about the little kid on the tricycle.
I mean, that would make sense to me. I mean, it's called Youth, so maybe that's a bit on the nose, but I like to think
Unless
so.
it's the old guy in the back, and it's a play on Youth, because he's not young anymore.
Or maybe he's young at heart, Sam.
Exactly.
Because youth isn't something that needs to be lost with age. Mm-hmm. Or it's probably the kid, so.
Probably the kid.
But yeah, so this song's pretty good. Low key.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of the whole album.
But yeah, the album itself is pretty low key overall. But this one's like low key.
Yeah. Jump into track number 3 then, if you're ready.
Yeah, track number 3, season 2, episode 3. I think that's funny because this is their second album. It's the third track on their second album, so it's kind of like season 2, episode 3 of their discography.
Now, I swear I've heard this song before.
You probably have, because this, one, I'm pretty sure you have, because this is in one of my music playlists. I'm pretty sure I played it with you.
That's probably where then.
In the car, because I really like this song.
Yeah. This is some.
It's also. Sorry,
go ahead.
It's also one of their more popular songs off the album, so maybe you just heard it in everyday life as well.
No, I doubt that. It was in the car with you guys, so it was. I was just trying to figure out who might have been playing it. This is some real lo-fi hip hop to chill / relax to / study to right here. I really like.
So?
Well, it's got the stilted instrumental line, really simple stilted instrumental line with the video game noises in the background, and a very prominent triangle, which is, again, they're breaking out the underutilized instruments here. And this one especially, I had a hard time understanding what was being sung, because this one specifically it was really high pitched and kind of breathy. So if I wanted to listen to understand the lyrics, I couldn't hear anything else just because of how hard I had to focus on hearing what was being said. But it was good. The whole thing is very relaxing, and I especially like at 2:20 a vocoder comes in, which isn't underused, but in my opinion, it's underused.
You want more vocoder?
I love vocoders. And then there was, you might be able to speak more of this since you're actually got the lyrics pulled up and stuff. But there was one line that was like, my girl eats mayo out of the jar.
Yeah, so that's I actually really like the lyrics to this song, even more than anywhere else on the album, because basically, what is being described on this song is basically just a slobby person.
Okay.
Just like someone who's like watching their like romantic partner just becoming kind of a complete slob. So most of the song kind of plays in her just kind of watching TV, eating mayo out of a jar, using a cookie as a coaster, that kind of imagery.
I gotta say, I really hope there's nobody out there that eats mayo out of a jar. That sounds absolutely disgusting.
I hope not too, but apparently, I mean, he's trying to go for this kind of very dingy imagery of just someone who doesn't really care. And I think he pretty much achieved it. But it's also got a lot of I particularly like this song just because it's got sparse percussion, but it kind of makes up for it with these very, like you said, it's got the video game sound effects, but even throughout the entire song, it's got all these like little flourishes and little sound effects and characteristics that they throw in that usually never repeat twice, that just give the song a lot of character. almost like a TV's playing in the background, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah,
chiming in.
the next song I really like the start of for that same kind of thing. But yeah, I there's a reason that I think lo-fi has caught on a lot recently, just because it it has a lot more depth to it without the people, not saying that they didn't try hard to make it, but it's a lot easier to produce, I feel.
And it's got, I feel it's got a little bit of a nostalgia factor to it as well.
Yeah.
Or they typically play into that. I think this has a little bit, especially with the kind of 8-bit sound effects going
Specifically
in.
Super Mario World sound effects.
Oh, it's from that one. That's a good game.
Yeah.
And then, and I particularly like the chorus on this one. It's probably the catchiest on the album.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big fan of the chorus. And then on the last chorus, it kind of works in the lyrics from the vocals into the last chorus. Ooh, it's good stuff. This is a singable song.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable to listen to. It was a very strong start, you know. Sometimes, at least recently, I've not been listening to a ton of music, so sitting down and listening to a whole album has felt like a bit of a chore. But when something like this rolls around, it's like, all right, I can groove to this. So
yeah, so I really dig this one, and I don't know, it's got a lot of character, even for its kind of lo-fi energy. It squeezes in a lot in without sounding busy.
yeah. So, if you had to guess, which one on the cover art would this be?
So I'm torn. I'm thinking it's either the lady in the pink on the right hand side,
Mm-hmm.
just because she's a larger lady, but then also there's the girl in the bottom left hand corner, just because she's holding, I think, a Game Boy.
See, I was thinking the exact same things. I was like, the girl in blue might be this one as well. So
I definitely think it's. So we'll say it's a tie right now. We can decide later.
I mean, I think it's 75% one, 25% the other, but you know, we'll say tie.
Yeah, and I guess then we can move on to track number 4, Pork Soda. And the background for this one's actually kind of funny. From the Bailey interview, where pretty much you're saying he got the title track from a woman he knew who had a tattoo that just said pork soda. He just thought that was hilarious, so we wanted to name a title after it.
I was like, what does that even mean? And then started listening to the song, and I think the title is a bit of an innuendo.
Innuendo? Oh, I didn't catch on that one.
You think so? Do you not have the lyrics pulled up right now? Do I have to pull the lyrics up?
I don't have the lyrics pulled up for pork soda now.
All right, I'm pulling the lyrics up.
You gonna go for it's a little bit sexy?
Yeah, it is. So for this one, I like I was saying on a bit ago on the previous, I really like the kind of, it was like kind of a bit of a radio and a convenience store kind of entrance. Like these dudes are talking about somebody drinking smack. Was that what it, or something like that? I can't remember.
Is it doing smack?
No, he definitely
smack?
said drinking. And it was just very lo-fi, kind of calm. But then he gets into it, and his singing style is a bit way too close to the microphone for me. He's not whispering into the mic, but he's very, very close to doing that. He just needs to pull back just a little bit, like just a bit too close to the microphone.
I don't think he sounds that close to the microphone. I mean, it's pretty similar to all the other songs so far.
It's on the edge for me.
On the edge.
Yeah.
You can tell it's just a couple centimeters there.
No, a couple millimeters closer, and he'd be whispering into the mic. I can tell.
I mean, it's keeping the breathy style. But I really do like the vocals on this one.
You're telling me that you actually know the vocals and you didn't pick up on the innuendo?
Oh, I like the way the vocals sound. I wasn't listening as much to the lyrics on this one.
So, what is it? I'll jump in the middle because there's quite a few curse words. It's back to the house with your arms around my neck. We drank pork soda with tangled legs. I won't forget how you looked at me then. And then it's talking about why do you only look pleased in bed, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's very... not very innuendo when it kind of spells it out.
I guess so. It's got a little bit of sexy stuff going on, but just kind of have a, I don't know, a little bit of a darker tone to it, maybe. It's a little more of a playing with like kind of more gravelly vocals at points,
Mm-hmm.
a little deeper. With there's also like this kind of low humming in the background that I noticed.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the end of this one just kind of got a bit too much. Like there's,
Oh, I love the ending on this one.
I'm not saying it's bad, but it was just like I was trying to pick up on anything. I couldn't focus on any one thing because there's just it's so dense. There's so much going on.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, there was just too much there for me to like pick anything. And I think the biggest issue with that was there was the instrumental line was a bit drony, constant notes, and everything was tuned to about the same volume, so you couldn't really hear one thing above all the rest. So the ending is good. I'm not saying it's bad. It was just like I couldn't pick anything to like focus on, just because there was a lot there.
It had layers. It had these synth layers, then it had these violins going in,
like an ogre.
And actually, the in the interview, he was talking about this song, where they were trying to, for the ending specifically, they were trying to put together what they called a crack choir.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, each one of them would sing the chorus of the vocals, but they do it as like a different character just to make it sound like more varied.
Okay.
So one was singing as like an opera guy, one was singing as like a fat guy, and they're trying to like pretty much add as many characters to it as possible to make it sound like a bunch of people singing together.
Okay.
Which I think, so for me, I think it kind of the cacophony kind of adds to it.
Yeah.
But I can understand how having such a more low key start, like the rest of the album, and then kind of building this very noisy ending can be a little bit off putting.
No, I don't think it was off putting at all. It was just I was usually when I sit down and type out, at least. Not so much when I'm just listening, but when I'm typing stuff out, I usually try and focus on one thing so I can, go more in depth. Because there's no way we could talk about every part of every song in the episode, because we'd go on for hours and hours and hours. I just try and pick out a couple of things here and there. But at the end, there was just like, I can't focus on any one thing long enough to have anything to say. So, but yeah, it was a good song. Good song.
Yeah, I really like this. So, which character do you think this would be in the album?
Oh, dude, I got no idea.
Yeah, this one was a mystery to me.
Maybe the lady with the. Well, no, because it's being sung from the perspective of a dude, right? So, I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be the person singing the song. So I want to say the lady with the white gloves.
Okay, so it's kind of like a oxymoron. She's like looking all fancy, but
yeah, the juxtaposition between the I completely lost the word.
Pork soda.
Yeah, the juxtaposition between high class and low class, I'll just say.
Highbrow and lowbrow.
Yeah.
Well, we can continue to keep it highbrow by moving on to track number 5, Mama's Gun. Mama's Gun. So this one's a little mysterious, Sam.
Yeah.
It's got these like woodwinds that are like in chimes and flowing synth.
Ooh, I'll say this. I really enjoyed the start of this one because did you pick up? It was very, very quiet start, but it started with marimba. At least I assume it's marimba.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's
kind of.
I don't know if I've ever heard marimba used as a primary instrument, so that was interesting.
To be fair, it's very soft murmur.
It is, but it was very nice, very well played, and the flutist comes back.
Yeah, so I like the I appreciate the use of woodwind. This one kind of going for a like I said, a mysterious vibe, kind of a vibe of like you're entering like a dark woods, right at twilight. And then it kind of goes more orchestral after the first verse and going into the chorus. It kind of picks up, but I do like it how it's got a very different energy as opposed to some of the other songs.
Yeah, it's
like it's.
I was just gonna say it feels a bit more stripped back, but not in a bad way,
Yeah.
It's just
It's stripped back,
a bit
but
more
also
low-key.
but it's also got this it's kind of it's winking at you. It's saying, hey, look, we got something going on here with these woodwinds.
Yeah.
And the I like this one because the meaning to this song they said in the interview is like I said, they're trying to elicit very specific feelings with a lot of these songs. This one is the feeling of after you wake up and you're like hungover or something along those lines, and you remember that you did something wrong the night before, but you haven't reached the point that you remember what you did wrong. It's that kind of like real unease.
I did not get that at all, but
that's what he said.
Okay.
Like not being able to remember quite what you did wrong right when you wake up.
This guy seems a bit out there. By the way, any guesses on what his middle name is?
I mean, his name's David Bailey. That's a pretty normal name, so I don't know. Michael?
Algernon.
Like flowers for Algernon?
Maybe.
That's the play that it's probably based off of. It's a sad play. I don't know why someone would name their child after that.
I could see Amelia doing that. But I don't know if you picked up on this, but I really enjoyed this one because there is the orchestral, there is the very nice woodwinds, the flute, the marimba, but then in the background, about the second half of the song, just underneath, every once in a while, there's some electronic, just some nice electronic sounds. Not too out there, not too out of place, but just kind of every once in a while, they're interspersed, sprinkled quietly in the background.
I did notice that. I think it's I think with a lot of these songs, especially with Glass Animals, they know how to use sparse instrumentation. Like they don't give you too much.
Yeah.
They use it just a little bit as like flavoring. Too much salt is bad. Having a little bit of salt to spice things up, it can do wonders.
Yeah.
And in terms of who this is supposed to represent, this one I have no idea.
I don't know. Nope. No clue. Maybe the dude in the Speedo? Or maybe the guy with the camera? I don't know.
Maybe the camera guy? Well. We can pass on this one.
From the description that he gave in the interview, I got nothing. Jump into track number 6 then. Cane Sugar.
Cane Sugar. So this one is a I'm not sure if you're familiar with the hip hop artist Joey Badass.
No, I'm not.
I know. I just felt like I just felt obligated to ask.
Don't patronize me.
With your young people music. So this was David Bailey. Actually, he's worked with a couple artists outside of the band, and one of them was Joey Badass. I think this was for his album All American Badass, but this is basically a beat that Joey had rejected. It was like a leftover beat that he had made, so they just put it on this album. And you can kind of tell.
I'll just say the second half of the album came one song early this time.
Yeah, this wasn't the best song of the album. It kind of felt like a leftover beat.
Yeah, it was the issue is they showed in the previous track that they know how to do stripped back. Like they can do stripped back, but still have a lot of emotion and power behind the limited instrumentals. And this one, the melodic line was about 2 bars long, and it was a very, very simple drum kit. And the only thing going for the vocal line is sometimes it's auto-tuned, and that's the song.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, the auto-tune's kind of interesting, but the most of the song it's pretty repetitive, honestly.
Yeah, and the auto-tune is interesting, as you said, but it's not enough to carry the song.
I mean, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah,
a little creepy, a little different, but there's nothing else to like go with it.
Yeah,
nothing to really prop the rest of the song up, and you can't kind of carry a song on vocal novelty.
Yeah, and then to close it out, they just kind of make everything louder while repeating the same thing, and they're like, "That's it. That's the song."
Yeah, this felt kind of like a leftover track.
Yeah, this is
so
not too much to say about that one.
Not too much to say on this one,
but we have even less to say if you're ready.
Well, okay. Track number 7. left bracket, pre-made sandwiches, right bracket. I mean, it's not really a song. It's the intermission, right? Which, a lot of albums have these kind of skits. This is like 30 seconds of of him just reading like poetry and this like weird pitched down vocals.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you weren't a fan of it, Sam.
No, I mean it was. I didn't. I just heard it and I'm like, okay. It's like somebody ran up to me into the street and just is like, "Hey, you want to hear my poetry?" and just started saying it at me. It's like,
and then 30 seconds later, they just leave.
It's not terrible, but
it just exists.
It's kind of there.
I'll read out Bailey's full statement on this in full, just because I think it's interesting. Because it could have been a lot worse.
Oh, great!
Because he said, "It's actually me talking literally as fast as humanly possible, pitched down like Mad Lib. I put on an accent as well. It comes from a big stream of consciousness piece I wrote. The original is so long; it's like 5 pages and a couple thousand words.
Oh my god!
I had to cut it down from like 5 minutes to 36 seconds. It was a bit relentless originally." So the original version was like 5 minutes long.
Holy crap. So just for reference, the longest song of this album is what, like 5:20?
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's a pretty...
And it's just him saying people want to complain about over and over again, right?
Or something along those lines. I didn't actually look at the lyrics.
It's pretty repetitive, at least for the first half and part of the second half.
Yeah, it's basically just a big stream of consciousness.
It's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sketch. It's a sketch. It's an intermission.
Yeah.
So you can just kind of click skip and go on to track number 8, The Other Side of Paradise.
Well, hold on, Coop. You're going a bit fast here.
Oh, did you have something else to say about pre-made sandwiches?
But which person on the album art does this represent?
Oh, Lord, I have no. Maybe the old guy in the back, because he'd have a deeper voice. Yeah. I have no idea.
I don't know either. If there was a guy on there holding a sandwich, I think that would make it a lot easier to determine. But I'm thinking maybe the guy with the rainbow armband, or maybe the guy with the Speedos, actually, because maybe it's about him as opposed to from his perspective,
Maybe we're all just a pre-made sandwich.
Jeez, all right, we're moving on. Okay.
Hey, you're the one who wanted to go back to it.
Well, we've talked about every person, so we gotta.
That's true. This one's a hard one, so we'll just skip it.
Other Side of Paradise.
Other Side of Paradise.
This one, right from the get-go, that woofing, I thought it was DMX. It sounds almost exactly the same, in my opinion.
Like a DMX, like a vocal sample.
Yeah,
it's probably just them. Just the whole band going whoo at the same time.
Then, I feel like it might be a vocal sample.
It may be. I haven't read anywhere one way or another, but I'd like it if it was a DMX vocal sample.
Yeah,
just because I like DMX.
Yeah, it's got some nice electronica along with it too.
It does, and I noticed this song has a very interesting use of like negative space.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Where like it'll like swell and then pull out really quickly, and then kind of swell and disappear again.
Mm-hmm.
And like in the spaces, those whoo kind of jump in. It's a pretty interesting effect.
Yeah, interesting is one word for it.
It's got a very stop and start.
Yeah,
feel to
the
it.
interesting instrumental drop out to droning, with this time not a simple drum kit. But the vocals don't really have a lot, and the melodic lick is pretty repetitive, and it's I feel like for the strength of the swells and the instruments going into it, dropping out kind of steals all the momentum and takes away from the song.
I get that. I do have to disagree with the melodic line, because the verses are a little boring. But the chorus, I think, is like catchy as hell.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh no, I love the chorus. I agree, but
it's almost got like a. And correct me if you didn't feel this, but the like melodic line of the chorus almost had like a instinct kind of feel, like a void. Like it was kind of simplistic, but it was taken with this kind of done through like an indie filter.
I didn't get that, but that's what I was talking about. I really like the opening. But when everything drops out, I'm not a fan.
I agree. There was the breakdown in the middle that kind of focused only on the lyrics,
Yeah.
but yeah, this but I like the song overall. I think it had some interesting stuff, especially with that good chorus,
Yeah.
and maybe a little hit and miss. Like it's not a super consistent
Yeah,
song.
it's pretty hit and miss. So there was it a second or third swell? I can't remember which it was, but there was a clock ticking, and I really enjoyed them throwing that in there. That was nice, and then it immediately drops out. With all
I guess it's one of the things that they're kind of the way they kind of use something to throw it away.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the other side of the coin. Sometimes you'll get something you really like and they don't use it again.
Yeah, but it was a good song. I mean, the constant dropping out of everything wasn't very good, but the ending was really good. But it's kind of repetitive for a 5-minute and 20-second song.
I mean, the ending kind of drags on, but I think it's kind of got that interesting kind of squeaky percussion going on. Yeah. That, at least it's doing something interesting. It's not like a simple drum loop that just kind of fades into non-existence.
Yeah.
Some songs do that.
Yeah, like some of the later ones.
And this song is the only thing you had to say about this song was the fact that is basically was inspired by watching a basketball documentary on Netflix.
I wonder which person on the cover art this is then.
Yeah, so I think that narrows it down pretty much to Mr. Basketball there in the middle.
Yeah.
But not sure if I got basketball vibes from this song, but
No, not at all. Maybe a commentary on how basketball is exciting until they all just stop and then it's really boring.
I guess so. Maybe that's one way to look at it.
Maybe.
Basketball is very stop and start, so.
Yeah. Jump into track number 9 then if you're ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
Track
number 9. Take a Slice. And we want to talk about this one first, Sam?
Sure. The intro segment was really odd.
Well, like the kind of talking?
Yeah. And at least for like the first minute or so of this song, if you had skipped from the last one to the middle of, or to the first minute or so of this one, I don't think I would have been able to tell a difference. It's pretty, Really? It starts pretty similarly.
Oh, no. I'm disagreeing with you on that.
At least this one's got a
very. I mean, this one's a lot more. It's a lot of very bassy. It's got a very distorted vibe to it. The last one I thought was very synth heavy and kind of more glittery and electric.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they sounded the same at all. Actually, like the vibe that the song is going for.
I'll agree to disagree then. It picks up again around the 1:30 mark. Just the first kind of minute doesn't. It's just kind of there. I feel like it doesn't do anything for me. But then it picks up at the 1:30 mark, and then around there they also throw in a Jetsons car noise in the background that I really enjoy.
I didn't catch that one.
It's pretty good. It's a great noise if you've never heard it before.
Oh, they'll let it go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Is that what?
Yeah, kind of like that. I'll pull it up while you're talking about your thoughts, so you can go back to the VOD and give it a listen.
Yeah,
since I can't play it for you over Discord.
Right, but yeah, this song actually I really dug because it's going for a very different energy. It's like this very. If I had to describe this song in a word, it's like sleazy. Right, It's got this like it's very bass heavy. The synth kind of like snarls at you. It's got this grime to it with these kind of raw guitars playing in the background. This very slow, methodical beat building the entire time, and even the choruses are all pitched and slightly altered to kind of go for this sort of off-kilter energy, which I really dug. Extremely different for the album. And just for music as a whole, just kind of almost intentionally try to go for a character that's like a little sketch.
Mm-hmm.
And I really dug it. I really dug this vibe, Sam.
I don't know. This one was not as great for me. The brass was good. I enjoyed that. And it drops out to the organ really nicely. And one of the previous ones, I know I was talking about how making it louder at the end doesn't end the song, but I think it works really well for this one. And the kind of the power of the brass coming in and that kind of thing. But there was that moaning every once in a while in your right ear. That was a bit annoying. I don't know if you picked up on that.
I think you just very much don't like anytime anybody gets close to your ear, Sam.
That is true, but it just felt out of place, you know? I'd be fine maybe if it was a bit earlier, but with that big swell at the end, it felt like it held its own without needing any vocals over the top of it, you know?
No, I get what you're saying. But that part didn't bother me too much. I just really liked the character of the song.
And I couldn't find a good example of the Jetsons car noise that I was thinking of, so...
Well, I'll Google it later.
I'll have to look it up, because there's a very specific starting and stopping noise that it has. And it used the stopping noise in it, so... jump into track number 10, then, if you're ready for that.
Popular Street.
It's Poplar Street.
Sorry, Poplar Street. And, yeah, so Poplar Street is a song.
Yeah.
This one didn't do too much for me, honestly. It's not that it's like a bad song at all.
Yeah, it's just weaker.
It's definitely weaker. It's kind of instrumentation wise, it's a little more simplistic. I mean, it's got some hard hitting percussion and like the strumming guitar, but beyond that, it's it feels like a pretty basic indie song.
Yeah, I really like the guitar work that it starts off with, but I feel like the second half of this album has suffered from drum kit, a bit too much drum kit. It picks up, the harder drums come in, like actual real drums come in later, which helps a lot, but just a lot, they seem to like really pick up the drum kit every once in a while, and it doesn't fit with the style, I feel. And all these latter songs really seem to suffer from a slow start that just lasts a bit too long, and could be kicked into gear a bit faster, because they certainly end hot. It just takes a bit too long to build to that and ends a bit fast, especially in this one.
I don't mind the slower starts in a lot of these songs, just because the payoff is typically good, right? If it was like a bad slow start and then there wasn't really a payoff, that kind of irked me the wrong way. But for the most part, these songs kind of have satisfying endings that they build up to. So kind of having a little bit of time to get into it isn't too bad.
Yeah.
But like I said, this one doesn't really have that. It's the slow start and then also a slow finish.
Yeah. And
then also kind of slow ending or middle. So it just and the vocals are kind of back to being very whispery.
Yeah.
So not too big into Poplar Street.
Yeah. There was a really nice faint electronic bubbling sound at like 2:45 that I really enjoyed, and I wish it had been a bit louder, but there was really nothing else going on, I felt, in the song. And I felt like this kind of suffered from miracle musical disease, where the last minute the song just completely changes and doesn't fit with the style that the rest of the song had aside from the lyrics.
It becomes kind of this like bubbly kind of like synthy swamp mess.
Yeah.
So which wasn't too interesting either, honestly. So
yeah,
not all gonna be hits.
No. Jump into track number 11 then.
Track number 11, Agnes. Would you say it's pronounced?
Yeah, that's right. It's a name.
Agnes. Yeah, track number 11. This is actually.
Oh wait, sorry, for number 10. Who do you think it is?
Oh, I think it's the suburban, kind of the lady in the orange skirt. I know, just because Poplar Street sounds like a street name. It's kind of like a suburban.
I know I already changed the track name. I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure I picked up on some lyrics for this one that were a bit kind of like, I didn't realize that was going to be the lyrics. What is it? It was I think it was about a mama always called that woman prostitutes for wearing lower cuts than most and red lipstick. One night, Mrs. Moore, she made eyes at me, pulled me through a door, and stuck her teeth in deep.
Is this for Poplar Street?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not I did not hear those lyrics.
Yeah, so it's like what is it? Stacy's mom.
It's like the edgy Stacy's mom.
Yeah, and then the outro is one night, Mrs. Moore, she called collect to me. I don't love you anymore, she said, and ceased to be just another boy. So
oh wow,
it's about one of the moms on the street hooking up with one of the teens.
Oh well, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, so
sad boy hours.
I feel like maybe this one might be the lady with the white gloves then.
Because she's kind of got that piercing look.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is I think the I didn't say it at the time, but I think Take a Slice is based on Speedo guy over there, just because he looks sleazy.
Yeah. Jump into track 11 then, since we already said that. Agnes.
Yeah, and David Bailey actually said this was his favorite song on the album.
Really?
Because he thought it was very. He said it's a very sad song that he put a lot into. But he also tried to keep it a little upbeat, have a little hope at the end.
See, that was actually kind of the one thing. All the other songs in this kind of grew and kind of evolved as they went on. This one, I felt, really didn't do that as much. It was a bit flatter overall.
Yeah, I mean, it has a little bit of a build up in terms of like the chorus, kind of stacks itself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for the most part, this one is a lot. Even on this album, it's a pretty kind of a lower key way to end it.
Yeah.
With this kind of nebulous synth.
Yeah.
And it's got some piano I like that kind of cuts through everything.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning of this song.
I like he's using a bit of a different singing style than the previous couple of songs, just because it's gotten a bit repetitive, but he changes it up a bit for the final song. But there's like a ringing phone noise that's every once in a while it just kind of took me out of the vibe a little bit, just placed a little bit of stress. It's like, oh.
Like you were actually getting a phone.
Yeah.
In the middle. Oh man. No, I thought there was a pretty all right way to end the album. It's very shiny. And like I said, it's got like a little bit of melancholy to it, but also the chorus is a little upbeat, so I don't know. It's nothing groundbreaking, but I think it gets the job done.
Yeah.
I also like the oohs that go on throughout it.
Mm-hmm.
Ohs.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not a terrible way to end an album, as opposed to some albums we've listened to.
Yeah, perfectly service. It's definitely not the best track on the album, but
yeah, or
at least in my opinion. I guess David really likes it, but
Yeah. Well, he also wrote 5 minutes of pre-made sandwiches. So.
Pre-made sandwiches, and I guess his middle name is Algernon. So
yeah,
I would say a little bit of a stranger guy, but
a little bit out there.
You have to be a little bit out there to be the head of an indie band, don't you?
To an extent.
Those creative juices.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that is the last track. And Cooper, what are your favorite and least favorite songs on this album?
Well, thank you for asking, Sam. So I think definitely going into this, I kind of had because I had listened to this album before we had even decided to review it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of had preconceptions of what would be my favorite. And I think that one still held true with Season 2, Episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
This one's been in my playlist rotation for quite a while. And still haven't tired of it. Still enjoy it thoroughly. It's got some quirky instrumentation. I like the kind of unique subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
And but also, taking a spot on my favorites list, I think I'll also throw in Take a Slice. Just because it goes for such a different mood, such a different energy. And I think a lot of these songs are, I appreciate the attempt to capture very specific dispositions that you don't typically get on albums. And I think this one captured the disposition it was going for very well, and I liked it. In terms of least favorite, and you're not allowed to say pre-made sandwiches, that wasn't a song.
Well, it's on the album.
It's on the album, but I'd probably say Cane Sugar.
Yeah.
Like I said, it sounds like a leftover beat. It plays like a leftover beat. It doesn't do anything interesting, instrumentation-wise or vocally. It's and it just kind of exists. I feel like you could strike this from the record books and just be done with it. It should have stayed in the dusty drawers of Joey Badass's apartment
Yeah.
instead of being trudged out for this. So yeah, that's probably my favorite, least favorite. How about you, Samuel?
I also particularly enjoy season 2, episode 3. There was another one that was kind of inching along there. I think it was Youth. I really enjoyed Youth just due to the flute. Really pulled me in. And it's a strong second song to an album. And if I could choose pre-made sandwiches, that would be the worst. But I have to agree that Cane Sugar is pretty bad. I think the whole album would actually be quite a bit better without it on it. It's
definitely batting below average.
Yeah, it would bring up the average by quite a bit. So yeah, what would you rate this album, Cooper?
So I'm thinking, for this album, I'm feeling a low like new. As you can tell, I have a pretty positive outlook on this album overall. There's a dud here and there. It's not 100% perfect. It's not bulletproof. But I think front to back, it's an enjoyable album experience. I don't think it loses itself halfway through, as some of the albums we've listened to have. Maybe takes a slight quality dip, but still, there's some great songs on the back half. It goes for some unique topics. And I think the Glass Animals set themselves apart enough with their instrumentation and the kind of quirks that they throw in that it makes it something that's worth seeking out. So yeah, I'm feeling a light like new. And also, for the rating system,
I
just
forgot
for
about
anyone
that
who's
too.
listened,
But,
Showroom is...
We're on 2022 at this point.
Yeah, at this point, Showroom's best, Scrapyard's worst. You guys get it.
We don't have to do it every time. Once every 5 now at this point, maybe we can do it. Since we only have about 3 people that regularly listen, so they're probably tired.
Our audience is so smart; they can use the context clues.
Yeah.
And how about you, Sam? What's your rating?
So I was actually thinking along the same boat, but I'm gonna go with a medium rare fixer upper, just because it's the first half is pretty good, but then the second half is it's all right. There's certainly songs on this album I think you should listen to, and there's other ones that you probably just skip and you wouldn't really be missing out on much. But I think it's maybe worth a listen or two. It's very relaxing, that's for sure. Definitely not something to sit down and analyze, just kind of something to have on. Maybe not while you're driving, might be a bit too relaxing, might put you to sleep at the wheel, but definitely nice to have on.
Yeah, it's easy listening on the ears. Yeah. I think it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's How to Be Human, or How to Be. I apparently I can't read. How to Be a Human Being by Glass Animals, and as we do at this point, we jump over to The Spare Tire.
The Spare Tire. This is our just music we've been listening throughout the week that isn't part of the review, but we want to give a shout out to. Guess I'll jump into it first. New album came out this week by an artist that I've been keeping an eye on. His name's Burhana, and he hadn't released any projects prior to this, just some singles, like an EP. But I was keeping an eye on him, and his first studio album, Han, just dropped this week, and I think it's pretty good. At times, it kind of familiar with Anderson .Paak, who's kind of goes for a more hip hop, R&B kind of influenced vibe. It's a lot along those lines, and I'm not gonna say it's it's not the production and the vocal soundings aren't as smooth as maybe you'll find in the more major names like Anderson. But as a first time as a freshman album outing, I think it's a pretty strong start to go off on, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes in the future. And also, it's got these little skits that are like plane themed. So, that's neat.
Huh. Okay. Mine is, I've not been listening to a whole bunch of music this week. Sadly, I've been catching up on podcasts because I was feeling a bit under the weather, so I couldn't listen to my hour of podcasts a day while I was bike riding. But I've been listening to a little bit of the Over the Garden Wall soundtrack as it rolls over into fall now.
Perfect fall show with a perfect fall soundtrack, I would say.
Very, very fall and kind of winter themed, but not as much as fall. I mean, traditionally I associate it with fall because it starts at Halloween, and that's the time of year that we all sit down together and give it a watch. But
yeah, it's got like it's got that early November energy.
It does, yeah, and it's very relaxing, good to do a bit of work too, and not distract you.
Yeah, it's just a delightful watch. Yeah. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry.
Yeah, but I definitely recommend that music. And if you haven't seen it, watch the Cartoon Network miniseries.
Yeah, it's like what, 12 episodes, 10 episodes?
It's somewhere around there. I can't remember. I feel like it's 10, but it might be 12.
Yeah, it's a quick watch, and it's well worth the time.
Very well worth the time, and I believe it won an Oscar for its music as well. So,
yeah, actually, me and my friend Malik have been trying to get together a Greg and Wirt costume for Halloween. We've been going to Goodwill and shopping for it. So
I'll be excited to see that.
we'll see how it turns out. It's going to be very DIY costume, so you know. But we'll see.
Well, thank you all for listening. This has been the Audio Shop Podcast, album 18.
Album 18, and we'll be back again next week with album number 19, which we decide what it is.
Yes, whatever that may be, that we'll try and quickly figure out after we end.
But keep an eye out for our Twitter at AudioShop14. We'll fill you in on what we'll be listening to the next week, and when we'll be discussing it on Twitch.
And if you're just hopping in now to the Twitch and you like what you hear, you can go over to YouTube and check out all of our past episodes. And if you're listening on YouTube right now and you want to catch us live, we're live 8 p.m. EST or Eastern Date, whatever it is, daylight time, standard time, whatever, that's going to be ending soon anyway. On Sunday evenings, usually, weather permitting.
Yeah, weather permitting. So we can drive to the old podcast shop out in the country and record this before going back into the city.
Exactly. We got a big old radio tower that we broadcast it to YouTube headquarters, who then, in return, broadcast it to the Twitch headquarters, who stream it to all of usually 2 people. But tonight we have 5, so that's a bit nice.
We actually mail the CD that we burn after recording this to YouTube, who then puts it on Twitch.
Mm-hmm. And usually we go through the process of contacting Congress to get it into the Library of Congress. And then we have one of the librarians there, Mrs. Millie is her name. She'll go through the process of uploading it. So actually we recorded all of these back in 2003.
Sam's actually dead right now.
Yeah.
in a rare blimp accident.
Yeah.
The thunk.
Yeah, it collided with a hot air balloon. Can you believe it? High-speed collision. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. And one final note, if you have any suggestions, if you jump over to the Twitch, we got a little suggestion box. That's where this one came from. This was a nice little suggestion in the box from one of our friends. So
throw it on, and we'll probably give it a listen.
Thank you all for listening, and we will catch you again, same time, same place, next weekend.
All right. Have a wonderful week.
You too, Cooper. And see you later.
I was talking to the audience, but yeah, sure. You too, Sam.
I'm just gonna end the stream now then. See you later, shoppies.
Wait.